Okay, do you know what one of my biggest regrets of our podcast so far is?
What?
You're going to laugh. But it's that I have missed the opportunity to say, all of a sudden. Like, how have I missed? So I'm going to sneak it in this episode, okay?
That's like so dumb. I don't know why you haven't thought of it before.
No. Missed opportunity. Our poor audience has been like.
I wonder if she's gotten that her whole life or something.
I wonder. Now she's getting it today.
Yeah. That's good. I like it.
Hi, this is Caitlin.
And this is Sharon.
And welcome to Real Housewives on Real Housewives, where we unravel housewives' story threads and keep the tea flowing.
So chic.
Hang on to your diamonds.
This is episode 5, and we're digging into Crystal from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 12.
So our skirmish with Crystal is really Crystal versus Sutton, or also kind of Crystal versus the feelings police. We're going to make that all one skirmish.
Yes, one big skirmish.
Yes.
So how do we feel about Crystal?
I pause on that one.
Me too. That's why I'm glad you're going first.
I'm kind of like undecided. Like, I think I'm still waiting to decide on Crystal. This is not nice, but my initial impression is that she's dull. There's nothing to dislike about her. Like, I like the way she dresses. I like her house. I like her family. There's nothing to dislike about her, but there's also nothing that I'm like, oh, I love this about her. Crystal's coming in. It's going to be so fun.
Yes.
She just doesn't add to the scenes for me.
I agree. And I think I kind of think she's boring, which, I mean, maybe in real life that's good. But as far as the show goes, it's a little, and every time she does kind of end up in drama, it's like just somehow depressing. I don't know. Like, nothing is ever lighthearted, I guess. Not that drama should be lighthearted. I don't know how to explain it.
She kind of bums out the drama. Is that a thing? Because I feel like that's what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone's ever said that phrase.
Okay, but did you know her husband, who at first I didn't like, then I realized he's just a goober and he's fun, and now I really like him. So she's 39. She's married to he's Rob Minkoff, and he's famous for directing The Lion King,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And they have 2 kids, and one of them is named Zoe, and I have a Zoe, so I love that. And her Bravo bio says she's 76th generational descendant of Confucius.
So now I'm going to expect her to bring more of the wisdom.
Yes, definitely.
Maybe that's why she's not high or low in the drama. She's just keeping her like
she's smarter than
Confucius wisdom in check.
Oh, but guess what? She also has a drink line because no one can do toaster lines anymore. Everyone needs a drink line. Crystal is the co-founder of Real Cocoa, a coconut beverage with her brother, who is also a Chinese pop star.
Okay, that's cool.
Named Jeffrey Kung. That is so cool.
Very cool. And I do wish we couldn't they did not have the coconut water near us, which is too bad because I actually have very strong feelings about coconut water. I either love it or hate it, and I'm very particular. Okay. So if we ever find them, I will give you my expert coconut
The first time I ever had coconut water was from a coconut.
Yeah, well, that's the best. That's the freshest. You can't get that on Amazon.
And like now I can't drink it in another way.
It's like, this is not fresh.
This is not.
This was not cracked open in front of me.
Unless someone took a big machete and lopped off the top of that coconut. I'm not drinking that.
I love that. And then, so we're also going to discuss Sutton a little bit more in this episode. Sutton Strachey, 51, is a debutante.
Wait, I got to stop you. I can't believe she's only 51.
I know.
I feel like she's like 30 years old. She looks good, but I mean, I feel like she's 30 years older than me, and she's not.
Yeah, I know. I guess maybe that's the problem. It's not the ages of the people. It's the fact that we're getting that's what's upsetting. So. It's not Sutton's fault. It's just like our fault that time is marching on.
Yes.
That's awesome. She is originally from Georgia. I thought this was really interesting. She moved to New York City as an aspiring ballet dancer. And I don't understand why we haven't talked about this more. Like, I feel like this should come up. Like, I would like to see Sutton dancing. I haven't seen, like, shoes hanging in her house. There's just not like tap dancing. I don't know.
That is interesting.
She married a childhood friend, and they have 3 kids, and they're now divorced. She owns that fashion boutique currently. And she's clumsy with her words. I don't know if you knew that about her, but
we've never talked about that before.
Going to be an issue again here.
Imagine that.
I'm feeling like this is the thread through the season.
Yes, definitely.
We were trying to blame all the drama on Rinna, which I still kind of do. But I think Sutton maybe has her fair share of bringing it too.
I agree.
All right, so we're heading into Crystal versus Sutton or the feeling police. So essentially, as we were looking at this, it's sort of a hard discussion because I feel like it's one of those arguments you might have with a spouse or a friend where you just go back and forth and you're not going to see eye to eye. And I feel like that's what happens here. Crystal has a very strong moral compass. So I do think the housewife antics throw her off. Would you say that? Like, I think that may be, that we may be calling her boring, but it just may be that she's
more mature. She does seem more
as
mature.
The younger
yeah,
one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As the youngest one, she seems the most mature.
Yeah, that is interesting. She gets easily hurt by words, but she also does have a strong voice when she uses it. Like, she was really one of the stronger voices about Erica returning the earrings. And Crystal and Sutton began the season saying they'd worked out some of their difficulties and problems from last season, and they're friends now. But all of a sudden, things get dark. I've been dying to use that.
Yeah, and I mean, all of her arguments kind of revolve around the same issue.
Yes,
She does not like being told how she's supposed to feel or that how she feels is not the right way to feel.
Yes.
So Crystal doesn't like that when people do it to her or to other people.
No.
So Crystal kept saying that the group was gaslighting Sutton because the group was kind of telling Sutton how she reacted to Dorit's break-in was a little weird. And so Crystal's like, you can't tell people how to feel. But Kyle was always kind of going up against Crystal, saying like, why are you making this about you, Crystal? They kind of butted heads about it.
They really call her out, and on what always I'm not 100% sure. They just don't, again, they don't understand where she's coming from.
Yeah.
I think the big issue here is that there's sort of referred to this dark thing that Crystal kind of fires back with about Sutton at one point, saying she's basically accusing Sutton of being kind of racist. And Crystal stays really mum about all of it and what Sutton said. She won't say anything, but she acts like it was this big, dark thing. So essentially, she's kind of creating the secret out of something, and it makes it worse. And all of a sudden, it becomes an issue that it doesn't really need to be. And so in Mexico, Rinna kind of says, like, does Crystal realize she's playing the victim? So I guess our question in our discussion is Crystal playing the victim?
I think it's very much a different generational thing and how she sees things.
I think that's
I mean, I know she's only like 10 to 12 years younger than the oldest women. But then like Dorit's like 46. So there's only 5 years though.
Yeah.
But I do think that can make a big difference in like the whole word gaslighting that just became this new, what was it, like the word of the year?
It was the Merriam-Webster.
And that's definitely driven by, the younger people and the Bachelor.
Nonstop.
So, I mean, I don't think it's the 50-year-olds driving the use of that word.
No. I think the communication styles of the generations, and even though, like you're saying, it's only 10 years, it's a big difference. I mean, think about like when we're at like a work party with our husbands and there's kind of that new generation of like the husbands and wives coming in, and I feel like, we're the same age.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a conversation and it's like, no, we're not the same age. And it's like it's just really kind sad. And I think the housewives have that same issue. Like you think, I'm not that old. Like they're in their 50s and they're kind of forgetting what their 40s were like. It's like we're in our 40s and we're kind of forgetting. I mean, I know you're not 40 yet. I'm sorry. I just aged you unfairly. But it's like I kind of forget what my 30s were like, honestly. And I think that's the exact same thing here. Like we have, I think, do you have the ages of the women? I think we had them written down.
Oh, yeah. I wrote them down. So Crystal is the youngest at 39. Then Sutton, 51. Kyle, 54. Kathy, 63. Dorit, 46.
So she's in her 40s.
Yeah. Rinna, 49. Erica, 51. And Diana, 50.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I do feel like that is a generational communication style difference. Like, initially, I really felt like this is like not really fair, but that this was sort of brought in to give Crystal a storyline, like to make her more relevant, to create some drama around her because she wasn't creating as much drama as they wanted her to create. And so this like ability to listen to each other and this like missteps that they constantly had, I felt like there was a little bit of like accentuating that to make that her issue of the season. I don't know. I think it's possible that Crystal just is sort of changing over the course of the season a little bit too. I mean, do you think that she changed or no?
I don't think she did, because I think if she had changed, she would have been less boring.
That's true. Is that why she's boring? No, I mean, that's not fair, but you know what I mean? Like,
no, yes.
It's not that she's boring. Maybe it is that she stayed the same.
Yeah, it's that the story, there's not a story of, well, usually when you have a story, there's got to be
and there's no resolution here.
Yes.
Yeah, I kept thinking, oh, she must have changed, because by the end of the season, they were all kind of getting along. But I think you're right. I think there was no peak and there was no valley and there was no resolving of it. So I wonder if it'll continue to come back. I don't know. Maybe what they need is that couple castmates that fit more in her age group to kind of fill in that gap.
But I don't know, because one of my favorite scenes that made her so much more likable to me was when she was with Kathy.
Oh, that's true.
And the Diet Coke and the cheese scene. And then she does mention at one point she's known Kathy for a long time. And again, that made me like her more.
That's true.
So I don't know.
And Kathy asked for a Diet Coke, and what did they bring her?
Coke Zero.
That's not the same thing. That's upsetting to me.
So uncool.
Like if I sent my husband to the store, he brought that back. Unacceptable. So Crystal, you got to step up your understanding of Diet Cokes. This is just not okay. I think
she drinks cocoa water or something.
That's
okay?
true. Yeah, not Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
We have feelings about both coconut water and Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And I think it's also it's a little bit like, it reminds me of that parenting discussion that I feel like we often fall back on. Like, I'm so proud of my children for the fact that they can state their feelings. Like, I feel like I ate a lot of my feelings. I don't mean that literally, but as I gained weight, maybe I am. Maybe I am a feelings eater. So it's like, I think that I held a lot of that back in as a kid. And I know my mom said she kind of did as a kid too. So it's like, I'm super proud of this generation of kids as being able to state how they feel. And I think that that's kind of what Crystal's doing. But it's a little bit harder for those of us that didn't do that, because as proud as I am, sometimes I'm like, can you just stop throwing every one of your feelings at me?
Yes.
And I feel like maybe that's a little bit what happened with Crystal. Like, they like her, and they're proud of her for sharing her truth. But at the same time, that's not what they're used to. That's not what they understand. And so I just don't think they will see eye to eye on it.
Yeah. But you know what's weird is I feel like everything you said is so true, except Crystal and I are the same age.
Well, I've always joked that I think I've always kind of had like old turns of phrases. So like, maybe this is just another thing. Like, Crystal's what we should be, and we're just like already old ladies. Like, we've just always secretly been old ladies.
That might be true.
I took that quiz, that like BuzzFeed quiz, and everyone else got like young, and I got like, you're like 82 or something.
Yeah, I remember, because
my mom was like, what did you click on there? And I was like embarrassed. Like, my mom is asking me what I checked on there that made me more of an old lady than she is. Like, that is a little weird.
I actually remember, because I did that quiz, and your mom and I were the same age.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like 24.
All I remember was it involved like nail polish colors, and I think I picked like hot pink or something, and maybe that's why I came out young. I skewed younger.
You skewed younger. I didn't know that nail polish was so important to that.
I didn't even wear nail polish, so if I did.
So I guess, honestly, who wins? I think it's a hard one to call, because I think I know where we come down on it. I don't know if that's fair, but I guess we should just make a call anyway.
Yeah, I just don't feel like Crystal wins, because I think she comes off not looking as well. Even though when I did rewatch the season, I liked her better than the first time. But
agreed.
Ultimately, I just didn't feel like she didn't vibe as much with this cast.
I agree. I liked, there was like that moment in Mexico where they were sitting around and Sutton was eating bacon on vacation. And they were kind of like, I think you just, like, she's like, I just don't process as fast as everyone else. And they were like, I think you need to update your processor. There's actually a button and you can just shut down or update. And I'm like, man, I think I've needed that a few times in my life too. So there's a bit of a rumor mill suggesting that Krista will be back, possibly alongside one of the 14 friends who dropped her. Could be interesting.
That's really exciting because, like, is she friends with the 14th with this mystery?
That's what I'm dying to know. Or is that like the one person who liked her the least?
Yeah, maybe that's the person that led the other 13 to drop her.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if they're going to pick one, they're going to pick somebody. But I don't know. They might pick someone because she really has been alone. Like, minus Kathy, I don't know who she's had to back her up. I mean, she and Sutton tried.
Yeah.
And I don't really think they're versus each other.
Yeah, I think they're in a better place.
Again, I think they are in a better place. I think they just had a disconnect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of disconnects in this show. Well, that's kind of what's up with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 12, but let's look at what's next for us. Before we tackle another show, we're going to take you through some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills books. There's a few that have been written, and so we're going to kind of do a little Real Housewives book club. So we're not switching formats, but we're just going to bring you a couple books that have been written. We're going to look at Garcelle's Love Me As I Am and Erica Jane's Pretty Mess. And we're hoping to sort of treat that as here's some questions. We'll ask each other the questions. You could ask your friends the questions or yourself the questions. So if you want to go and get those books, we're going to look at Garcelle's Love Me As I Am and Erica Jane's Pretty Mess. And then in the beginning of March, we're actually going to tackle Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 3. And so we'll kind of give you our analysis of that season, same format we've done for this. Again, kind of from the point of view of the people who caused the most drama and what we think about it.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. I think it's going to be fun.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for being with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. We get so excited that we have an audience and that anyone wants to listen to us. It's our day.
Anyone.
We love all of you. So thank you for letting us do this and thank you for listening.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed our episode, please subscribe. And if you'd like to help support us, please share this podcast with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and a review. Thanks again, and remember to stay out of the shade.